Welcome back to Heroes Next Door. Thank you all for joining us for another episode. This is a special one because it's the third installment of Task Force 81. We're in LaPorte, Pennsylvania, so let's go check out these Heroes Next Door. And we're going to be talking to the LaPorte Volunteer Fire Company because you are also part of the Task Force 81, right?
Yep, that's correct.
And you have very specific stuff and a pretty cool setup too.
Yep.
First of all, let's start with your name.
Dan Morrison.
All right, nice to meet
Fire
you, Dan.
Chief here at LaPorte.
Thanks for inviting us out here.
Yep.
You know, we've been traveling around today. We've, seen 3 different fire stations that are part of this task force. And one of the questions that I have is, what's the importance of having a task force versus just doing it yourself?
The importance of the task force is trained professionals in this area of the business. We all put on bunker gear, go to that kind of fire, but when it comes to someone lost in the woods, putting aerial pieces in the air, you need to be trained in it. You have to call in that special group of guys that focus on this stuff and know what they're doing, properly trained.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And so it's that collaboration that we've talked about for years on the channel. Not one fire station has, first of all, the finances, especially in the volunteer service, to do everything that these drones need to do. Correct. Each of you, from what I understand from today's travels, has a little bit of different drone capabilities.
Correct. Can
you tell me about what you have?
Our current drone is the Matrice T30. It's one of DJI's most recent drones they come out with. Thermal imaging, laser rangefinder, personnel tracking device on it. 200 times zoom. I mean, we can zoom in on things quarter to half mile away and read license plate numbers or, numbers on the side of a house. So for identifying purposes, we assist state police quite a bit.
Okay.
So it helps with scene stability type of things, to being able to keep the aircraft out of the sight of the suspect or whoever they're looking for, and we can actually zoom in and give them the images that they want so that they can get their stuff together and go in and get them.
That's pretty cool to hear about.
Yep.
Now, driving up here, I was coming through the mountains, coming up this major hill. I tried to get some video of that. What kind of coverage area do you have? Is it all rural? Is it some suburban? What do you have?
No, we're all rural up here.
Okay.
We're in rural PA, very recreational, state parks, state game lands. We get the tourism up here with the World's End State Park and the Loyalsock State Forest, hiking trails, hunting season, the hunting cabins up here. It's almost full tilt and hunting season.
Right.
So lost hunters
and from what I understood, you have part of the Appalachian Trail that runs all through here too.
Correct. A lot of hiking.
Okay.
A lot of hiking. You do get the lost people up here. We've had a couple this year up here already, and we've called the task force partners in to assist us. So
nice.
Yep.
Okay, let's see what you have, brother. You have 2 different controllers and a TV screen and all kinds of stuff.
Yep. So we got controller A, controller B. Controller A, the pilot runs. Controller B, we have it set as our support crew. We roll this truck with a minimum of 3 people. We got a pilot, a remote spotter, and then support crew.
Okay.
So our remote spotter, he can stand here, watch the images as well. We have one guy he can run the controls for just the camera, and the pilot can focus on the aircraft in the air.
That's actually pretty unique. I've never seen that before with 2 different controllers.
Yep, and then we can switch controllers back and forth also. So right now, this controller that's hooked into the TV has full control of the drone. We could put it in the air. If we want this controller to have it, we just hold the button. Now that controller has full control of the drone.
Okay.
Now, if we want this controller to have control of the camera, we can switch it over. This now has control of the camera functions, where this controller only has control of the drone functions, left, right, up, down, and all the safety functions.
Right.
So these guys can sit here and really focus on the monitor and, 2 forms of monitors, and the pilot can focus on keeping the aircraft safely in the air. So you also can jump to where we could put this controller here, guy could fly, we could put a controller down the road. This guy could take over once it's over top of him and keep right on going. Because part of the 107 rules is you have to remain visual sight of the drone unless you have a waiver. Here in LaPorte, we don't have a waiver.
Okay.
I'm kind of a little bit on the edge with that. I like to keep it in sight or have one guy in sight so we can jump them and keep the aircraft going in the direction, and we don't have to stop and repack.
Yeah, that's really thinking outside the box.
Yeah.
And the fact that you have 2 different controllers that can either do the whole thing or do a separate job
Correct.
makes it so much easier for that pilot to focus on his task.
Correct.
It's really breaking it down.
Yep. Yes, it is.
So about how far does this drone go?
Well, by the book, or it would go 3-4 miles easy.
Okay.
With depending on the satellite signals and all that.
Right. Do you guys have any connective issues way out in the rural area?
We do.
Okay.
We do. Sometimes if you're way out there, we've been out in the middle of the game lands where this whole setup has went on our ATV out there 2 or 3 miles into a trail. We've actually set up on the side of a trail with a canopy open above us, and that's where we lift up to get visual. You know? So you're talking 1 bar of signal and maybe hitting 8 satellites. So you're on the sketchy end of it, but we got some good guys that know what they're doing, so we can get it up and get it back down without.
One of the things that we've been talking about throughout the day is this Part 107.
Correct.
This is a class or a certification. If someone is watching the film and doesn't understand what Part 107 means, can you explain that to us?
The Part 107, for the emergency side of it, we originally started out with this program and didn't know we needed it.
Okay.
Here, if you're providing a public service or getting paid for using the drone, you have to be a Part 107 pilot.
Okay.
It's not a personal drone to any one of us. The department owns it. We're flying it for a purpose, so they classify we have to have that certification. So we have 4 pilots here at LaPorte. They're all 107. We're going on 5 years.
So that's basically a pilot's license through the FAA.
Correct.
For drone specific.
Correct.
So it's not, you know, I can't all of a sudden, oh, I have my Part 107, I can fly a plane.
Yeah.
But I can fly the drone.
Correct.
But it gives you a lot of that information on how air traffic control is and things like that. Correct. Is that my understanding?
Yeah, that's exactly what the test shows you. You got to be just about a pilot to pass it. So
okay.
There's things that you wouldn't think you would have to know to fly a drone, but the FAA thinks you need to know it. So
okay. Okay.
It's quite intense.
Now I'm looking at your drone. You have it already set up for us, which I appreciate, but you have a lot of equipment on that. You know, I do fly a drone myself. I don't have my Part 107 yet. I'm working on that. Mine's much, much smaller. How much payload can, you know, a drone like that carry?
About a pound, pound and a half.
Okay.
Right now it has the speaker attachment on it. We can't receive, but we can broadcast.
Okay.
So if we get over top of an injured patient, we can start hand signals with them. Hey, if you're injured, raise your right hand. We see the right hand, we know they're injured. That starts giving us information to relay back to our EMS, our, you know, whoever's in charge of the scene, and let them know, hey, we got visual on the patient. They are saying they're hurt, and start cluing into what they got. Because most of the time when we're out there, you're a couple miles, so it takes a little bit of resources to get in and get things going. So this drone's got, we can put markers on, like you see right here. This one's got, see these blue diamond markers?
Yep.
We can fly out, and anywhere we put those crosshairs, we can set a marker. So when we put it up in the air, you'll see a couple way over there from an incident that we were at. That allows us to, if we have to come back for a battery change, we can come back, put the drone down, flip the batteries, lift right back up, and our marker's out there. We know right where they're at.
And go
There's
right back
no
to
guessing.
Okay. So you don't have to research for them because your battery went low.
Correct. Correct.
So what we're going to do, we're actually going to put the aircraft up right now, right? And take it for a flight?
That's right. But normally we go up, 20 feet or so. We'll check all of our controls. We'll do a 360, both directions. Make sure the aircraft's handling just how we want it to handle. And then up in the air we go.
Just like that.
Yep.
What's your ceiling that you fly at most of the time?
Below 399 feet.
Below 399.
Yeah.
Okay.
So right there you can see one of our markers. That's probably an incident that's 7 miles from here.
Okay.
That we handled a long time ago. We just haven't cleared out, but we found something of interest there, so we marked the area.
Okay.
That also, we can go on our maps, click on that, gives us the coordinates. So we could come back here right now, click on those, and it'll bring us the coordinates and tell us right where it's at.
Okay.
So,
and you can also then share those coordinates to rescuers on the ground.
Correct.
So they could put it into their GPS or their Onyx, you know, app, and
That is correct.
it go right to that victim or person that's in distress.
Yep. I'll give you a little clue on how good the camera is on this. Go up here a little bit. Now we do fight the canopy up here in the summer months, but there we're about 280 feet. That's about, I'm gonna say, a mile away.
Okay.
At our school district that we have. And I'm gonna zoom in on our biomass plant.
Wow. And that's about 2 miles away.
Correct. Yep. So
that's unbelievable.
You can see that the camera functions on this are absolutely phenomenal. And that's one of the reasons we chose this drone. It brought something different to the task force to where all the drones in the task force are top notch, but this has a few different things that they don't have. And theirs has some things that ours doesn't have. So, you know, they have drop devices with theirs. We don't have a drop device with ours, but we have the external speaker, we have the spotlight, we have the excellent zoom capabilities. So that's part of our goal of the task force, is we all help and support each other, and we don't try to buy the same thing. We try to get, you know, it's better to have 5 different things that all work well together than have 5 of the same things that you're not bringing any different benefit to the the system.
It's kind of like, you know, bringing all towers to a fire.
Correct.
You need an engine, or bringing all engines and you need a tower.
Yep, that is correct. So it's worked very well for us. We've traveled almost 2 hours away with this drone.
Okay.
To support the task force in different areas. We also one night this was going back a year ago, we assisted state police with a, so there's Route 220. I don't mean to keep, that's probably about 4 miles.
Wow.
I'm gonna zoom way in on that baby. So you actually passed that coming in at D&D Brew Works out there. So something else cool with it, I told you about the tracker. So right now I just locked on that car. I'm not even touching the controls.
Right.
The camera's actually gonna follow that until it goes out of perspective, and then it's gonna search for it.
Okay.
So we get somebody on the ground, like a suspect for the state police or someone like that, we can actually mark them. We can stay well out of the area, and the drone camera is actually following that person around.
Okay.
And little story we actually a year ago assisted the state police up here with a wanted guy. We were called out at like 9 o'clock at night, cold winter night in February. Put the drone in the air. Within 10 minutes, we spotted the guy on the side of the mountain. We were support just like this on the back of the special unit with state police all around us. They sent guys up in, and we watched them bring them right out of the woods and take them into custody. So
Got to make you feel good when that kind of stuff
happens. It
happens.
does, because they were standing there. Closest resource for an aircraft for our state police up here is like Hazleton.
Okay.
So you're looking at an hour and a half by the time they fuel an aircraft, get a crew there, get it up here, to where this resource is right here in the backyard. And we're more than willing to do it. Gives us actual training when we do it, and it assists another agency that we work close with. So
right.
it works out well.
Now you are 100% volunteer, fire station and stuff like that. So you're volunteers even for the drone program.
Correct.
So the question I would have, that actually one of my viewers had, let's see if I can find it here. What is the cost implications of joining a drone task force for a rural fire department, and how does those cost? Can that cost be justified?
So there's no grants for us.
Okay.
As of yet. Now the state grant, they say you could use on the aircraft. We got into this in 2020 before any of that was thought of for state grant side of it. But in 2021, Paul Vaher from Du Bois Town Fire Department approached us about becoming part of the task force. They saw that we were running calls, we were being successful. They wanted us to become part of the task force. So it was something newly created. So we all went into this purchasing little things by little things. Now, we started our drone program by a donation from the National Drone Protection Agency.
Okay.
We got a Phantom 3, which is a low-end drone. but it gave us the capabilities of putting aircraft for scene support on like brush fires, stuff like that. We couldn't go out at night. We didn't have thermal, stuff like that. So we quickly, within 4 months, decided we wanted to go full tilt on this. So we ended up buying a Mavic 3T that had the thermal side of it. So we started low without thermal, then we went into thermal. We ran that drone for 3 years. Really got proficient with it. We had some finds with it. And we decided this was something we really wanted to do here in LaPorte, because we try to specialize in the specialized things like water rescue, high angle rescue, ice rescue. So we figured adding a drone would bring another benefit to Sullivan County and the region.
Right.
So we decided last year in January that we were going to start looking at the new Matrice 30. We had watched some videos on it, did some research, really liked the drone. So what we did was decide to help another agency start their drone program, and we actually donated our Mavic 3T to Hamburg Fire Department.
That's
so
awesome.
that they could start their drone program, kind of like we did. Now we gave them a better drone than we started out with, but we ended up bringing our Matrice 30T in, which has been fantastic for us. We love this drone. We plan to have it for quite a while, not get rid of it.
Right. Find me asking, what kind of cost is into a setup like this?
This drone, full setup, was about $19,000.
Okay.
Now
we'll have to bring it down. It sounds like a helicopter coming down.
Yeah, it's got a real good wind shear. We have the gimbal following.
Okay.
So for spotlight, we can do different symbols. So with the spotlight, we could flash the light if we wanted at the ground to give somebody, hey, we found you, we know what you're doing.
Yeah.
So we can actually, it's very loud system. So
I'm pretty sure I peaked my speaker on that one, guys. But, you know, that'll get, you know, if you're 200 feet in the air, because you're covering the canopy, that's got to reach down to whoever you're talking to.
Yeah. So we'll go up here. Let's go 150 feet. And we'll play it.
If I can even find it here. There it is.
You still see it?
Yep.
All right, so we're roughly 150 feet in
150 feet up.
Full volume.
Yeah.
So it's very beneficial. I mean, even from 300 feet, you're still going to hear it.
Right. Right.
Most of our tree canopies, 100, 150 feet in the air up here. Maybe you get some 200 footers with the hemlock. So if we get down within 20 feet of the top of a hemlock tree, we can definitely make contact with somebody. They can hear us clear as day, and we can start that communication with them.
Is it a two-way communication? Can you hear back yet?
It is not. So we've decided how we're going to overcome that is with hand signals. We'll ask questions.
Yeah.
If they're able to make hand signals, hey, are you hurt? Raise your right arm. If we see them raise their right arm, you know, one of my support crew guys marks that down. Start asking more questions. You know, are you hurt from your hips down? Raise your right arm. You know, they don't raise it. We know maybe it's an upper injury. From your hips up. Did you hit your head? You know, and we just start tracking that. And then once we have a full mentality of what's the matter with them, then we'll relay back to command. Hey, we found them. This is where they are. We have their area marked. They're saying they're injured. They believe they have a arm injury or something like that, head injury.
Yeah.
And then they can clue EMS into, hey, we got somebody with a head injury, you know, and start planning to get them out. So
that is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Now, not just the drone, but I see you have this whole truck set up. Is this specifically done for the drone system?
No, it's not. We kind of modified it a little bit. This is actually more of the Chief's truck design to it, and then we added our specialized systems to the pull-out tray. So we do our high angle rescue off of it. Our water rescue runs off this truck. Fire police runs off this truck for MVAs. I take it to incidents, and then we just decide to throw inverters in it and the TV and everything else to add to the
drone stuff stays in here?
No, the drone stuff stays here. We add it when we have to.
Gotcha. So you get the call out, you come to the station, pick it up.
Correct.
Load it up in the truck, and then take it as you need it.
Yep, that's correct.
Okay.
So it's not on all incidents with us. In our county, we specialize in other things. So for instance, when I was talking to you about earlier with that high angle rescue we did at World's End, We didn't even attempt to run our drone. We called in the task force, and Boys Town came up. They supported us. Our guys were, you know, doing the actual rope rescue part of it. We were focused on that, so we could rely on our partners to come up, and they did the scene support with their drones, so it worked out well. And we've done the same thing. You know, they have incidents and they're just tied up down there and they can't get their guys to do it. Well, we can go down and do it for them. So that's how we work.
That's
So.
absolutely cool.
Yeah.
So the question I have for you guys, we've been to, you know, like I said, 3 other stations right now. You know, volunteerism across America and Pennsylvania, I know specifically, is completely down. You know, we're always trying to recruit new volunteers and stuff like that. Do you think having a drone program is going to kind of spike that up a little bit for the younger generations?
We have had some younger guys come through the door that have interest in joining the drones. How we do that is they don't get right into flying the drone. We start taking them with us on calls. They can start out by being the support crew. Then they'll work their way into being a remote spotter. Then if we're working with them and they seem like they're gonna, you know, hit a home run with it, we'll pay for them to go down and take their Part 107 and add them on as a pilot here.
Okay.
So
if someone's watching the video, because we got a lot of fans all over the place, and they're up here in LaPorte and they want to volunteer and come with you, how would we get a hold of you?
any Monday night, stop by the fire hall.
Okay.
Monday nights are our full-time nights from 6:30 on. We're here. So.
Okay. Any email or Facebook or anything like that?
Yeah, you can email lvfcchief@yahoo.com. I always answer that. Our Facebook page is always active. You can go to LaPorte Volunteer Fire Department and private message us there if you want.
Okay.
Yep.
Chief, I really appreciate you inviting us out and showing us what you have here.
Yep.
It's definitely something special. You know, this is the first time we're doing a task force. We've done urban search and rescue, but nothing like this. So we appreciate the education that you guys are giving us today.
Yep.
So
We appreciate you coming.
Thanks
Thank you
for inviting us out.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining me for another special episode. If you haven't done it yet, do us a favor. Hit subscribe, hit the notifications, smash those like buttons, and make a comment below. We really appreciate it. Stay tuned for more episodes. We're going to be talking about the possible drone ban, and we got one more station to do. So we'll see you again next week. And until then, stay safe and take care of each other.
So now we are back at my original location, which is
Du
Bois Town Fire Department,
Lycoming County.
Lycoming County. And this is the crew that runs the drone program here.